Jesus Freak here, and I've just been thinking a bit about my situation. Interacting with people has never been my strong point, and dealing with situations that go pear shaped has also never been my strong point. So I've spent basically the last month freaking out, and it's just been gradually becoming more and more stressful. And I'm glad that I have a few people to giving me moral support. Heck, one of my exes has been giving me moral support. Um, anyway, one thing that came up was the idea that because I'm getting more and more paranoid about things going wrong, and because I'm getting more and more desperate, probably because I'm kind of paranoid about it, that there's a good chance I'm trying to keep myself from doing something stupid out of desperation. And honestly, I've been getting very tempted because I've said to people, I'm not a confrontational person. And when I deal with people who are like rights schmites, or, you know, when I deal with people who don't want to deal with stuff, I've had too many problems in the past with landlords who didn't want to fix stuff or didn't want to take responsibility for anything. So I've generally gotten in a situation where I'm like, I just take for granted that they don't want to deal with things. And I've had enough problem with people chewing me out for getting on their case about stuff that I just take for granted that they're just too busy to deal with me and don't want to be nagged. I mean, look, I don't want to be nagged either, and I've been known to kick people out that keep nagging me about my situation because it just rubs me raw. And I guess I figure, I guess I just operate under the assumption, you know what they say about people who assume, but I operate under the assumption that others are just as unwilling, just as, easily irritated, I guess, as I am. And I sabotage myself. But I'm trying to make use of the help I've been offered without making too much use and getting blowback for it. And I think it's partially the autism that I don't really know where the limit is, and I'm erring on the side of caution. Because when I was younger, I erred in the other direction and got in trouble frequently. But I've spent over a month, not being able to do a lot of the things I normally do. Because half the power in this place is still not working. And it's like, well, you need to do this and that. But I did this and that, and you said it wasn't enough. And it's like, well, what else can I do? The only thing else that I really feel I can do for them to be able to want to do what they want to, what they need to do, is vacate. And that's the premise I've been operating under. And maybe it's a faulty premise, but I've dealt with so much junk in almost 20 years. There's just a point where I just can't deal with things. And I'm always throwing up the issue of, if people want to help me, they want to help me, but I'm like, they can only do what they trying to do on their time. And if their time doesn't jive with my time, I mean, if they're going to need more time than I can honestly spare. But I don't want to wind up in a situation even worse than I'm already in. Every time I've had to move, the places I've moved in were smaller, more expensive, and had worse problems. And I don't want that again. I've been dealing with this for years. I don't want to keep dealing with this. So, I mean, I've got help, I've got support, and I'm relying on it. But I'm always afraid that I'd be over reliant on it. And maybe the problem is that I've been programmed with so much, misinterpretation that, when you're a kid, everyone's like, oh, the Bible says this, the Bible says that. And there's been a lot of times where I've read the Bible myself, and it's like, no, that's not what the Bible says. But, first of all, old habits die hard. And second of all, a lot of bad doctrine has been passed down through the centuries, and people are still pushing it because it's all they know. I run into a lot of conflicts because there's A, B, C, and people say A, people say B, and I wind up concluding C, and you know what? I just want everything to be done with. I just want to be able to live my life without having to worry about things going wrong and no one being able to take care of it. Honestly, I'd rather be able to take care of it myself. Jesus, freak out.